All right, preseason is in the books, and after the preseason, if you're a believer in there are some takeaways with the preseason, that means there have to be some teams that you feel worse about than you did entering the preseason, and these are 5 of those teams, just 5. I was going to do 7, but honestly, most teams I feel like they come out of this feeling pretty good, or at least the same. But there are 5 teams I feel like are probably looking at this and saying, yeah, this didn't exactly go as we had hoped, and maybe there are some negative takeaways in this one. So, without further ado, let's just get into it. These are the 5 losers of the preseason. Number 5 is the Los Angeles Rams, which are an interesting team to put here because, to be clear, I'm not necessarily looking at a team and saying, oh, you went 0-3, you're a loser. Because at the end of the day, teams are doing different things. Teams are trying to figure out different things. The main way I'm evaluating this is you're a loser if I feel worse about you than I did a month ago. That's how I'm viewing this. The Rams didn't necessarily have a star quarterback look terrible in the preseason. Didn't have a first-round pick not live up to the hype because they didn't have a first-round pick, haven't for a while now. This is the one team I have here simply just due to how poor they looked this preseason. I mean, obviously the 41-0 blowout in the most recent preseason game is not good. Again, I get it. Like, you're not, they didn't play Matt Stafford. They, didn't play a lot of their, talented players. Cooper Kupp wasn't out there or anything. So, okay, how much does that matter? But this is a team where, depth issues for the Rams has kind of been a thing for a while now, even though they've sometimes been, good enough that the issues don't necessarily matter. However, this year it might matter a little bit more, I think is reasonable to say, and maybe concerning. Their other 2 games, they lost by 17 points, actually the exact same score, 34-17 in both of those losses. So, I also did think, I wasn't impressed with Stetson Bennett this preseason. I just wasn't. So that's not great either. You did, maybe have some hope taking a flyer on him that things could work out. A couple other players I didn't love, but again, they drafted 14 guys. You're going to have some not look great in the preseason. It's really just the fact that they lost so much that I put them here on the list, but not too high on the list. They're here at 5. Number 4, I went with the Cleveland Browns in this situation, which might be a surprise for some people. Why go with the Browns? I mean, after all, there was some nice things that we saw from Cleveland. I thought Dorian Thompson-Robinson looked actively good for them. I think that he's kind of shown to me that he's a player who belongs in the NFL and probably could be a good backup. The issue I have with Cleveland is why are we still not seeing Deshaun Watson? Cleveland had 4 games that they played this preseason, and they ended up winning 1, losing 2, and tying another one. They, in fact, the point differential is bizarre as they tied a game, they lost the game by 1, they lost the game by 2, and then won a game by 5. So interesting stuff there. But they had so much time to see what they could just see some stuff out of Deshaun Watson, and they had him play only a few snaps in this preseason. So it's for a guy who looked so rusty last year, still not giving him playing time, I just don't understand it. I want to see more from him. I mean, the 3 passes, that's all we got out of him. I guess he didn't throw an incompletion this preseason. You got that going for you. But as a whole, it's just a complete wild card. Oh, actually, I stand corrected. He had 10 more snaps in in the Chiefs game. But still, I mean, it's not enough. I guess we'll wait and see on how well he does and if he's able to make something happen. But I don't know. I kept getting told constantly, well, it's not fair to criticize him last year because he missed so much playing time. Of course he's going to play poorly. Well, then why are you not giving him more snaps? I don't understand it. That's, Browns fans will disagree with me on this one, but I have them as losers here. Number 3 is the Dallas Cowboys, a team that went, 1-2 this preseason. So, okay, they have a win on their record. This really comes down to the Mazi Smith of it all, a guy who I liked coming out of college. I thought that was a pretty good first-round draft pick. He's looked not great this preseason, to put it lightly. I made a video, made a film study on him already, and it was a mess. I mean, that's just, quite frankly, that's how it looked. It was a tough situation. Now, will he be able to rebound and play better in the future? Potentially. I do like what the Cowboys did going out and adding, Trey Lance. I think that's interesting. I don't know how much that matters, but, because they still have Cooper Rush, but, 4th round pick feels like a pretty, high upside, low risk move. I'm not mad at that one, although it would have been nice if they could have done it a little earlier, gotten some preseason reps from him. But as a whole, just you spent your first round pick on a guy who you thought would help you now. Doesn't look like he's going to help you just yet. Might be more of a project than you hoped. So that's a loser for me. They're number 3. Number 2, I am going with the Tennessee Titans, which is weird on face value because they went 2-1, right? Hey, they won the majority of the games. Why am I giving them so much criticism? Well, you went out and you drafted a player who goes by the name of Will Levis. That's who you got. You were hopeful that he could maybe be a potential replacement at some point for Ryan Tannehill, and maybe he will. We only saw one preseason game, so maybe it's not fair to totally criticize him too much, but it wasn't great. It just wasn't a great preseason game, and he's someone who I've never really gotten, Will Levis, so I don't know if it's totally fair to, maybe I don't see it. Totally possible, but it wasn't a spectacular performance from Levis, and it's one of those things where, you already drafted Malik Willis, who played like the whole preseason basically. Levis took 14 passes. Willis had the rest of them. He played basically 3 full preseason games, so okay, good work, Willis, I guess, being the workhorse there, but it's the Will Levis thing, has been a disappointment so far in a very small sample size, so that puts the Titans on the list. And number 1, it kind of has to be this team, right? The San Francisco 49ers, and I'm not even saying trading away Trey Lance was necessarily a bad move. I mean, if all you can get is a 4th round pick and he's not going to, you don't feel like it's a better upgrade at quarterback 3 compared to, who you have at quarterback 3, okay, fine. Make a move. Get rid of him. I understand it. I can get the logic behind it. For one thing, part of me does feel like if you think he could at least be an upgrade at quarterback 3, given your injury history, might as well keep him. But again, that's not why I'm putting him on the list, because it's not what trades did you make in the preseason. I'm just talking about the games. And the disappointment is that he didn't show enough in those games to justify even being quarterback 2. And the fact that Sam Darnold looked solid out there. He earned a job. It wasn't just that Trey Lance lost it, but Trey Lance did lose it too. It was looking like Trey Lance should have had that job and just, again, didn't justify enough for the Niners to feel like they should have him out there. So given a guy who had a lot of optimism, we felt at least decent about him coming into the preseason. The fact that he's now off the team, yeah, they're the number 1 loser this preseason, in my opinion, but they're still in pretty good shape, is how I view it, because it is just preseason at the end of the day. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. Of course, as always, thanks for watching.